Hi there, welcome to live stream Yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today our focus is abs. I want you to think of today's class as a DIY tummy tucker. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify if you need to, rest if you need to. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to set up for today's class coming into a 4-point kneeling frame on the mat. Make your way down onto the hands and the knees. Make sure that you situate yourself with a nice long line through the spine. Don't drop your head. Keep your gaze softly down between the two hands and your spine and your neck as long as you can. Hold that line, giving me a nice tabletop line through your back. We're going to focus on lower belly activation. On the inhale, I want you to allow your belly button and your whole lower belly to become heavy to the mat. On the exhale, I want you to pull in, tummy to spine, pause, hold, and then relax again. Rinse and repeat. Every time you inhale, you allow the lower belly and the belly button to become heavy to the mat. On the exhale, you pull in and you hold. Let's do 2 more. Then drop your weight from here down onto the elbows. As you come down onto the elbows, you can either give me palms flat, fists, or you can try a modification, palms up to the ceiling for a little bit of variation. Step your legs back one at a time and find a nice long elbow plank line. Then think of that core activation that we just did in our first exercise and focus on your breathing pattern. Every time you exhale, I want you to try and tighten your core a little bit more and hold before you soften on the inhale. Give yourself at least 5 rounds here. Trying to keep your body line as parallel to the floor as you can. Push off your elbow points and your forearms. Resist the mat with your elbows and your forearms. Then slowly draw the knees in one at a time and make your way back into 4-point kneeling on the mat. Looking for that long line through the spine, that straight back line, belly button softly pulled into center. You're going to peek over one shoulder towards your tailbone. Pause. Inhale, come back to center. Look over the other shoulder. Keep finding that gentle oblique activation as you peek over one shoulder, trying to keep your back line as long as you can with your belly button softly pulled into center. Let's do one more to each side. Drop once more into an elbow plank. Pick your hand position, palm down, fist, or palm up. Step your legs back one at a time. Find that belly activation. Hold steady as you lift and float the left leg off the floor, holding for a soft count of 10 while you think of trying to tap the wall behind you. Try not to lean your weight forward. For this one, push the weight back into the heel of the back leg. Then change sides. Let's hold. 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 1. Draw softly back into your 4-point kneeling frame on the mat. Find that length through the neck and the spine. Find your belly activation. On the exhale, you're going to draw one knee in towards your nose. Pause, look for that contraction, and then float softly back to your tabletop line. Let's do 5 on one side. Last one. And then we'll change sides. Last one. Find your way back into your elbow plank, picking the arm position of your choice. Find your core activation, and then think of gently dragging the weight forward so that you're hanging almost on the first 2 toes and then back in the heel. You're going to drop that weight forwards and backwards, keeping that core activation, so thinking belly to spine, trying to forge the flattest belly that you can as you sway back and forth, trying to keep as parallel to the mat as you can. Let's do 2 more. And then we'll find our way from here back into our 4-point kneeling frame on the mat. Don't drop your head. Look for that length through the neck and the spine. Forge that tabletop line. Push the mat away with your hands. You're going to tuck your toes under for me, and you're going to focus on your knees. As you exhale, I want you to draw the knees up off the floor. And then on the inhale, softly tap them down. Keep lifting and lowering the knees. As the knees reconnect to the mat, I don't want you to smack them into the mat with great force. So I want you to use your core to slowly allow for a soft butterfly tap and then pull them back up again. Use your core to pull the knees up. Let's do 2 more. And then we'll find our way into our last elbow plank. As you complete the last one, set up your last elbow plank. We're going to combine those last 2 movements together. You're going to lift and hover 1 foot off the floor. On the other side, you're going to rock forwards and backwards, then change sides. So a little leg lift on one side and a forward rock back and forth before you change sides. Push off your elbow points, push off your forearms, push off your hands, whether you've got the back of your hands or your fist or the palm on the mat. Let's do 1 more on each side. As you complete your last one, flip onto your side. We're going to do a little bit of side work. You're going to use your bottom arm as a prop, or you can give me a long pillow on the mat. You're going to bend your knees, keep the knees and the feet connected, and try to line up your neck, your spine, and the heels of your feet on the same axis. We're going to play with a little clam line. Open and close the knees, keeping the feet softly drawn together. Visualize tugging on a little piece of string through your belly button that connects the inner thighs, the outer thighs, the top of your thighs, and your lower belly center. One more. Close your clam and extend your top leg. Keep the foot hovering off the floor. Keep a soft toe line, but try not to claw through the foot. Float the leg up as high as you can, and with resistance, come back down. Don't rush the movement. I want you to look for additional work here. So pretend that you're resisting against the weight as the leg comes down, as the leg goes up, and as the leg comes back down again, you're finding some resistance on the inseam as well. So look for resistance on the outseam as you float up, and resistance on the inseam as you come down. Keep belly to spine, so keep that belly activation the whole time. Give me the flattest belly that you can. Last one, you're going to find your way back into your clam line. This time, as you open the knees, lift the feet into a diamond and then close and down. Open, lift, close and down. Let's do 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Close your clamshell, extend the top leg, and repeat your lift and lower. Make sure you're working with resistance on the up and the downstroke. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, belly to spine, 2, last one, you're going to come back into your clamshell. Open and lift, extend and kick, close your diamond, bring everything down. Open, lift, kick, close, and down. Open, lift, kick, close, and down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, keep belly to spine, last one. As you complete your last clam, close your shell, extend the top leg, lift and lower, lift and lower. Look for that resistance on the up and the downstroke. Keep as much length through the limb as you can. Last one. End with the leg at about hip height. You're going to tap the front edge of your mat and the back edge of your mat. Pretending that you're lifting over an imaginary gate in between the two. Shoot for as much length as you can as you tap that leg behind you, and use the full tap as an almost soft release. Let's do one more. Then push up. Sit on your bum, place both sets of fingertips on the floor behind you, leaning just off your tailbone. Extend the legs to hovering off the floor, and then tuck your knees in towards your chest. Use your fingertips on the mat behind you to support your frame as you come into a modified working boat line. Let's do 2 more, and then we'll flip over onto side 2. Find your way onto your side. Giving me a small prop on the bottom arm or using it as a long pillow. Bend your knees, connect the feet in the knees, and situate yourself down so that you're lining up neck, spine, and heels. Begin your clam line when you're ready. Keep that lower belly activation. One more. You're going to close your clamshell and extend your top leg. Lift and lower, and look for that resistance on the inseam and on the outer seam as you lift and lower. Give me the flattest belly that you can. If you need to, you can place your fingertips on your belly and you can lightly tap your belly with your fingertips to remind yourself to keep your core engaged and braced. Last one. Find your way back into your clamshell. This time, open lift, close and down. Open lift, close and down. If you want to, you can place your hand on the top thigh and give yourself a little bit more resistance by gently pushing on that thigh as you open up. Let's do 6, 5, 4, keep belly to spine, 2, last one. Extend the top leg, lift and lower. Keep activating that core, maybe using your fingertips to lightly tap your lower belly to remind yourself to keep that core braced. I'm going to call that 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Find your last set of clams. You're going to open lift, kick, and bring it back down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Close your clamshell, extend the top leg. You're going to lift and lower. Lift and lower. Fingertips either softly on the floor or connected to your lower belly center to remind yourself to give yourself the flattest belly that you can. All right, let's change the exercise. You're going to tap the front edge of your mat and the back edge of your mat. Front and back. So in front of your hip and behind your hip. Give me the longest leg that you can, hip bone to toe, as you tap behind. Let's do 2 more. And then we're going to roll over from here onto the back. So when you're ready, roll over. Reposition yourself in the middle of your mat. Bend your knees. Connect the soles of your feet to the mat. Start in a comfortable neutral spine position. Arms at your side, palms down. Inhale to prepare, and on an exhale, keeping your legs in parallel, you're going to draw your knees into a tabletop position. Try to make your lower back as heavy as you can into the mat. Think of giving me the flattest belly that you can, and hold your legs at 90. Don't pull your knees through the 90 line, so stop with your knees stacking over your hips and pretend that somebody's trying to push the knees away as you pull them up to that 90 position. Maybe actively bracing into your feet. 5, 4, 3, 2. Then scoop to peel up off your shoulders. Push your hands actively against the top of your thighs and hold for a further count of 10, 8, 6, 4, belly quivering, 2, 1. Drop the soles of your feet to the mat and rest your left fingertips on your sternum. Tuck the right hand behind your head in a surrender-like fashion. Just connect to that little bone underneath your chest. Take a big breath in to prepare. On the exhale, tilt your pelvis to 12 o'clock. Find that core contraction. Scoop to peel up off the shoulders, looking down towards your belly, giving me the flattest belly that you can. And then inhale to float back down. Let's do 4 more. Slow and controlled. Two more. Last one on this side. Float softly back down and let's change sides. Right hand on your sternum, left hand behind the head. Peel back down to the mat. Drop the arms at your side, palms down. We're going to come back into that table hold. From neutral spine, take a big breath in to prepare. On the exhale, draw your knees into table. Maybe keeping a soft foot line, but pulling the knees actively in towards the 90 line, trying to imprint your lower and your mid back and make the belly as heavy as you can into the mat. Try not to tense the neck and the jaw. Keep the contraction in your core. Then actively brace into your feet. Place the left palm against the left knee, push and resist. And float the right arm and leg into extension, giving me 10 open and closes on one side, while keeping that left leg and palm active the whole time. You keep pushing on the left side as you open and close on the right. Peel down to the mat, take a recovery breath or two, just relaxing the arms at your sides. Let's repeat that one-sided dead bug on the right. Draw back into table, actively push and resist on the right, and you're going to open and close on the left. Giving me an active brace into both feet, trying to hover the arm and the leg that you're extending just off the mat. Keep that active activation on the right. So you keep pushing and resisting on the bent leg side. Last one. Come back into a bridge-like setup and tuck both hands behind your head in a surrender-like fashion. Begin in neutral spine. On the exhale, tilt your pelvis to 12 o'clock, scoop to peel up, keep those elbows nice and wide, look down towards your belly button, give me the flattest belly that you can, and then softly peel back down to the mat. Stay here or add a little bit of one-sided oblique work. Try to keep the left elbow softly connected to the mat, scoop to peel up, and then give me a soft rotation off center to one side. First peel up, and then soft rotation. Just 5 on each side. So once you've completed 5 on side 1, we're going to change sides. Give me the flattest belly that you can. From here, you're going to roll over onto one side. You can bring your toes just in front of your hip line and your bottom arm just in front of your ear line. Try to keep your shoulders, your hips, your knees, and your ankles stacked. If you can, you're going to keep your top hand on the top of your hip. Keep your fingertips relaxed on the top of your thigh. Squeeze the energy between the inner thighs together and lift, hold, and hover your legs in parallel. If keeping the top arm on your hip is not an option, place your fingertips gently on the mat, but just the very tips of your fingers so that you're not leaning and rolling forwards or backwards in your position. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2. Gently roll onto your back. Bend your knees. Connect the soles of your feet to the mat and float your hands overhead. Back of the hands connected to the mat, palms looking up. Tilt your pelvis to 12 o'clock and float your legs up softly to the 75 position. On an exhale, you're going to bend the knees and come into a hovering table. Inhale to float back down to your start position. Let's do one more like this. Then you're going to roll over and you're going to repeat your side work on the other side. Fingertips just in front of your ear line, toes just in front of your hip line. Stack your body, top hand either gently on the mat or resting palm down on your top thighs. Squeeze the energy between the inner thighs together. Pull up from your pelvic floor towards your belly button line, giving you the flattest belly that you can, and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently roll over onto your back. Bend your knees, connect the soles of the feet. Float your hands overhead, palms up to the ceiling. Begin in neutral spine, tilt your pelvis to the 12 o'clock position. Hold that contraction, giving me the flattest belly that you can as you extend the legs at about 75. Scoop to peel up off the shoulders, bending the legs into table and hovering the arms, and then open back out to your start position. Let's try to do one more. Roll over to your side using the same framework you did for the first round. So fingertips just in front of your shoulder line, toes just in front of your hip line. Stack your body and place your top hand on the top of your thighs. Squeeze the energy between the inner thighs together. Lift, hold, and hover your legs. And then reach with the top hand, floating it off your thigh and trying to reach as far as you can for your toes. Hold. 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. Float softly onto your back. Realign yourself in the middle of the mat. Bend your knees, connect the soles of the feet, and float your hands overhead. Back of the hands connected to the mat, palms looking up to the sky. Tilt your pelvis to 12 o'clock, imprint your lower back, and float your legs softly to the 75 position. We're only going to bend on one side. So keep one leg extended. Let's bend the left leg. Scoop to peel up off the shoulders and come back to your start position. Last one. Bend your knees, connect the soles of your feet to the mat, and roll over onto your side. Fingertips on the bottom hand just in front of your ear line, toes just in front of your hip line. Top hand, preferably resting on the top of your body. Squeeze the energy between the inner thighs together, pull up from the pelvic floor towards your waistline to lift, hold, and hover the legs. Then reach through the fingertips of the top hand, hovering the arm off your body and reaching for the wall at the opposite end of the room, and then hold that frame steady. Keep squeezing the energy between the inner thighs together, almost as if you had a soft pillow between the two thighs. So keep your inner thighs active. Keep pulling up from the pelvic floor towards your belly button center. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll over onto your back. Reposition yourself in the middle of the mat. Bend your knees, connect the soles of the feet, and float your hands overhead. Back of the hands connected to the mat, palms looking up. Begin in neutral spine. Tilt your pelvis to the 12 o'clock position. Find that contraction in your belly center. Keep it there and softly float the legs to about 75. We're going to bend on the right only. Scoop to peel up off the shoulders as you hover the arms in table, and then come back to your start position. Last one. Bend your knees, connect the soles of your feet, and roll over onto side one. Same setup. Bottom hand just in front of your ear line, toes just in front of your hip line. Top hand resting on the top of your thighs, maybe cupping gently around your hip. Squeeze the energy between the inner thighs together, pull up from the pelvic floor, hold and hover. Then focus on your top hand and your head. Float your head off the bottom shoulder, reach your fingertips for your toes. Pause and softly float back down. You're going to do 4 more. Peel softly back down to the mat. Roll over onto your back. We're going to work a modified slow scissor. Begin in your bridge-like setup. Tilt your pelvis to 12 o'clock. Scoop, imprint the lower back into the mat, and float your legs softly to the 90 position. Open up one leg softly to about 75, and then begin scissoring through the legs, either staying here on the floor or scooping to peel up off the shoulders and then holding on to the back of the nearest leg as it comes in. Giving me a slow scissor. If you're feeling strong, you can hover the bottom leg just off the floor, but don't rush. Exhale as one limb comes in towards your chest, and then inhale to transition. Last one. We're going to change sides. Roll over onto side 2. Same setup. Bottom hand, fingertips just in front of your ear line, toes just in front of your hip line. Find your body stay, top hand resting on your thigh. Squeeze the energy between the inner thighs together, lift, hold, and hover off the floor. Focus on your head and your top arm. In unison, lift the head off your bottom arm. Reach with your top fingertips as if you wanted to tap the toes. Pause. And then slowly float back down. Give me 4 more. The whole time, your feet stay hovering off the floor. So you're squeezing an imaginary weight between the inner thighs. Keep the flattest belly that you can as you play. Find your way onto the back. One last time, realign yourself in the middle of the mat. Bend your knees, connect the soles of your feet to the mat. We're going to work a modified slow 100, keeping your knees bent and the soles of your feet connected to the mat. You're going to begin in neutral spine. Tilt your pelvis to 12 o'clock, imprint your lower back, and find that core contraction. Keep it. Scoop to peel up off the shoulders and lock this almost boat-like frame into the mat. On a slow inhale for 5, gently bring the arms up in line with your knees. On a slow exhale for 5, float softly back down to the mat. So you're giving me a really slow 100. Think inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slowly lower your head, your shoulders, and your arms back to the mat. Extend the legs and give me a soft turnout position with your heels together, toes softly splayed out, inner thighs rotated out, belly as heavy as you can while holding a neutral spine. Don't try to imprint on this exercise. Keep the shoulders soft, keep the neckline soft, focus on your right leg. Bend the knee, take it out to the side, and then draw it into the center line. Keep tracing that circle in the same direction. Externally rotating through the hip, keeping the flattest belly that you can while holding the turnout position on side 2. Then change your trace and bring the knee in first before opening up to the other side. Keep the flattest belly that you can. Don't lift the right foot totally off the floor. There's always a portion of the foot that's softly caressing the mat at all times. Let's change sides. Find your turnout position. Keep the right leg extended and in turnout. Take the left knee out to the side and then draw it into the center. At first, just externally rotate through the hip. Keep the flattest belly that you can. So I want you to feel a nice little stretch into the lower belly as you're playing with this one. Let's do one more in this direction, then we'll move the knee in the opposite direction. Drawing the knee into the center line before opening up to the side, beginning to internally rotate through the joint. Flattest belly that you can the whole time that you play. Last one. Drag the big toes, bringing the legs back into parallel, maybe gently just tucking into a little cradle rock for a second or 2, cupping softly around the knees as you rock the body side to side. Bend the left leg, place the sole of the foot on the floor, and extend the right leg up to the ceiling. trying to use your belly center to hold the leg there. So pretend that you've tugged on a little piece of string and you're using your belly to float that leg up as high as you can to the ceiling. Push off your hands and hold that contraction. If you're feeling strong here, you can extend and then maybe begin bracing into both feet. Use your core to hold that right leg as close to the 90 position as you can. Bend your right leg. Extend, brace. Take a little stretch through both toes, trying to stretch your belly center, and then relax the feet. Bend the right knee, place the sole of the foot on the floor. Find that little piece of string through your navel and draw the left leg up to 90. Use your core to hold that leg at the 90 position. 5, 4, 3, 2. Brace actively into your foot. Keep that belly connection and see if you can drag, brace, and kick into your supportive leg at the same time. Use your core, almost trying to hollow out your back from this position, almost as if you wanted to actually round out your back and hollow out your belly, as if you were trying to imprint that lower and that mid back into the mat. Then bend the left leg, drag, brace, kick. Try to hollow out your belly, try to imprint your lower back as best you can, and hold that contraction. Then soften through your feet, stretch through your toes. Try to almost flatten that lower belly even more. Then dragging the big toes together, bending the knees, dragging the big toes to center. You're going to softly kick both legs up to the ceiling using your core to hold that frame. Almost trying to imprint your lower back and make your belly as heavy as you can to the mat. Keep reaching through your toes. Then gently brace and kick into your heels and hold. 10, 8. Try to make your lower back and your mid back as heavy as you can and try to hollow out your belly. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend your knees. Tap your big toes to the mat. Drag, brace, kick. Float your hands overhead. Interlace them. Invert them. As you push into the heels of your feet, push into the heels of your palms. Take a little stretch here. Neutral spine, but try to give me the flattest belly that you can. Then soften through your toes, uninterlace your hands, and reach long through both your fingertips and your toes, holding neutral spine, but trying to give me the flattest belly that you can. Then end off your playtime on the mat today by bending the knees, connecting the soles of your feet to the mat, and bringing your hands to prayer in front of your heart. Thank yourself for making time to come out and play. I hope you enjoyed today's class. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Remember to shoot me your comments. Make sure your notifications are on. And be ready for playtime on the mat tomorrow. Till then, keep it light.